Hello Sagittarius, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is your weekly tarot forecast. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. That way you won't miss any of the other readings on this channel for your sun, moon, or your rising signs, all right? So, Sagittarius, what is on your mind? What is the situation? What is the message coming through for Sagittarius this week? Let's find out. All right, first card today. Oh, it was the Queen of Cups. All right, let's put that into some context with our Dove and Serpent spread. Oh, interesting. We are also going to do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're going to leave that right over here. We're not going to look at that until the very end, so stick around until the end of the video, and hopefully that card will tie the reading together or, give us the confirmation that we're looking for, all right? So, let's see, we've got some water, we've got some fire, we've got a couple of major arcana. We don't have a lot of earth. So I think that, what is lacking in your week right now is some kind of practical efforts, a more like pragmatic or grounded kind of energy, right? I feel like there's a lot of emotions going on. There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of energy. There's not a lot of action being done on the physical plane. There is not a lot of grounding. Maybe there's really not a lot of this, idea of being in tune with your body or being in tune with nature. It seems like you're kind of living abstractly a little bit this week, okay? And now, the first card that we're going to talk about, obviously, is this Queen of Cups. Now, who is this person? I feel like this is either a water sign person or it's somebody that has a very, I almost want to say manipulative energy about them. Emotionally, though, right? I think this may be an older person. It may be a feminine energy. But if they're not a water sign person specifically, they have this quality about them that they almost like they're gaslighting you a little bit, almost like they project a certain type of emotional energy just to get a reaction out of you or to try to influence how you feel or to influence how you are seeing reality. Does that make sense? And meanwhile, they are living behind this veil and they are not really being honest or truthful about how they feel. So whatever the interaction is with this person, it's like they're trying to influence your feelings, your emotions, your experience of reality by projecting certain things, certain emotions, certain vibes, certain energy toward you, right? And so it's very difficult to actually penetrate that veil and understand who this person is, how they really feel, what they really want, what is their agenda, why are they doing this, etc. Okay. And I don't quite know yet who this person is to you, like what relation they have. Is this a friend, a family member? Is this your spouse, your lover, your domestic partner? Are these work associates? I'm not sure. We'll get to some possibilities maybe as we go through this reading. But for now, let's keep this person in mind and just say something is going on with them that is somewhat manipulative, somewhat gaslighting, and somewhat it's mysterious, right? I'm getting, it's hard for me to even really to get an accurate picture of what's going on with this person because they are living behind such a veil that it's difficult to really see who they are, what they're about, what they want, or why they're doing this. But I feel like they are very emotionally manipulative. And it's by projecting certain emotions, right? It's by projecting some kind of an emotional vibe that then elicits a response from you. Okay. Now let's see where we can go with this and what else this might entail. I think it's kind of a complicated situation, and we'll get to some of these other cards. But first, let's go right to this Tower card. This is really what is happening this week. Right, so the week it's going to involve this water sign person. This person, I don't even know what to call them at this point. That crackling you hear is just the candle here, by the way. But, you know, the crackling, that fire energy, that kind of noise is really kind of, you know, indicating this Tower card. This is a lot of noise, a lot of static, a lot of, you know, you start to hear this situation start to crack. It's going to start crumbling. It's going to start really crashing down. It's not going to be sustained very much longer. And I think in this case, this is a very good card. This is a very good indication of how this is going to go down. This is water, right? Queen of Cups here, watery card. The Tower card, this is all about Mars and fiery energy. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious just looking at it, right? Fire and water, active and passive, and these two forces are opposing each other. So you've got this watery person, this Queen of Cups here, and everything that person is doing or everything they're about right now that we've talked about, you're going to be really confronting that, battling against that with this Tower energy. Now, I don't think this is you literally going out of your way to call this person out or start shit or start any kind of beef or friction or any kind of conflict. I think this is just the nature of the circumstances. They're going to end up revealing themselves, their whole strategy, their whole agenda, their whole, whatever this thing is that they're doing is going to just start crumbling down around them. And it's really nothing you even have to do. They're going to bring it on themselves, right? They're going to push this thing too far, or they're going to get too confident, too cocky, too arrogant in whatever agenda they're trying to further. And this Tower energy is going to come down around them. It's kind of going to be their karmic payback, I think. And this is that fiery energy, right? That's going to really butt right up against their watery energy. And this major arcana is going to win every time. Okay? And this is really nothing that they can do, nothing that you can do to advance this or to hinder this. I think this situation is going to just be, it's going to be destroyed. It's going to come down around them. Things are going to be revealed out in the open. When the dust clears, you're going to be able to see things as they are. Okay? So this Tower energy really is about that kind of, it's about you escaping from this situation, sure. Getting out of the whatever kind of manipulative aura this person has about them. Getting away from that, right? Escaping from that situation. But then this is also about their whole plan, agenda, their whole strategy, whatever they're doing, and for whatever reason they're doing it, that's going to come crashing down. Okay? So it really is almost one of those just sit back and watch the fireworks kind of week for you. Okay? Don't give in. Don't fall for their tricks. Don't fall for their manipulation. Just stand back, watch the fireworks. Watch this thing crumble down around them. Okay? Whatever kind of setup they've got going, whatever kind of system of lies or manipulation or gaslighting or whatever this thing is, it's coming down. And you don't have to even do a thing. Just kick back and watch the show. Now, a little bit more about what is going on, what they're doing, what the situation really is. We see some other cards here that are pretty strong forces. We see some fire, some water, some air in this situation, right? Not a lot of earth. Nothing is really grounded in reality. This is all stuff that's kind of abstract. It's just, it exists on the mental or emotional plane. It's nothing that is really, has any kind of concrete facts, no basis in actual physical reality, okay? Now, the first thing in the recent past is this 10 of Cups. So I think that maybe this person is a kind of rejected lover, some kind of a spurned partner, somebody with whom you kind of rejected. You kind of, you've had enough of them in some way, and you've distanced yourself from them, or you've tried to shut that relationship down. Maybe it was a situation where this person was too emotional, too needy, too manipulative, really, even when the two of you were friends, coworkers, when the two of you were close. They still had this kind of manipulative energy about them, and you had enough. The 10 of Cups here is you've had your fill of their BS, right? enough is enough. I think you got to a point where you were just overwhelmed by this kind of energy that they had, either this really needy, this really emotionally manipulative kind of energy, just really, really heavy and burdensome. And not that type of, neediness where, you want to help them, and maybe you did help them quite a bit, but they just kept asking more, demanding more, expecting more and more and more. And nothing was ever satisfying to them. Nothing was ever enough. Nothing was ever good enough. And that's all part of their manipulation. And they may not even realize that they were doing this. They may be so clouded and behind this veil to their own emotional state that they're not even aware that they act this way, or behave this way, or gaslight people or manipulate people this way. But I think the two of you were close at one point. You had enough, and you tried to distance yourself from them. And now they're kind of starting in with more of this manipulation, whatever you want to call it, right? This bad news. And this bad behavior, really. Okay, so I think that's kind of how we got to this point today. And this is what kind of led us here. Now that we're here, we see this 8 of Swords. Now, I think this is really, again, this card at the top of the dove, Path of the Dove here. This card really encapsulates the whole reading. It gives us kind of a bird's eye view, gives us a nutshell kind of summary of this whole reading. And with the 8 of Swords, I think you're in this situation, and in some ways you feel trapped and stuck, right? With the 8 of Swords, a lot of the time we get this feeling like we're really trapped in this kind of prison. We don't realize that the gate's not locked, right? That we can easily get out. But things are just so chaotic, so confused, so agitated and anxious. And there's all this confusion going on with these. I mean, the card, it looks like a confusing state, right? And I think this is preventing us from seeing that the gate's wide open, or that the keys are in the lock, and all we have to do is turn the key and we can leave. So we're in this state that is very confusing, very chaotic, and all of this energy coming off of this person, right? Whoever this person is, maybe we'll just put this person right over here. Whoever this person is causing this kind of confusion to where you're starting to second guess yourself. You're starting to not really trust your own thoughts and feelings, right? It may have started out where you're just like, this person's full of shit. I don't, I'm not going to fall for that. But the more this is happening, the more you start to say, hey, well, wait a minute, maybe I really do feel that way. Maybe I really do act this way. Everything they're projecting onto you, you're starting to slowly believe it, or just be a little bit confused, a little bit thrown off by that energy. And now it's feeling like you're locked into this state of confusion, that there really is not a clear way out. But the bars perhaps are a bit rusted through, and it's not a very strong cage. The metal, the bars are corroded, and they're easily just busted open. Okay, and in the immediate future, we have a 5 of Wands. This is using that very fiery, fighting spirit that you have, right? This is literally kicking the door open and getting out of there. This is brute forcing your way out of this kind of mental confusion, mental prison that you're in, right? I don't mean literally go kick anyone's door in, okay? Figuratively speaking. Whoops, she's trying to throw me off too. Okay, stay right there. This is figuratively using this fighting spirit. Figuratively kick the door open to this prison. Get yourself out of this confusion. This is not something that you can think your way through. Because I think this person is kind of a master at this manipulation, and they may not even know they're doing it. That's the really absurd part about it. This may just be how they operate, and they don't really know. They don't really know how they do it, why they do it, or that they're doing it. but they're causing this kind of confusion, this kind of mental prison type of thing, right? And now I know we did say that there was this inevitable downfall, right? This tower energy, this is going to come crashing down around them. There's nothing you need to do. You don't need to lift a finger. This is for their own demise, right? They're going to be caught. Their whole system of doing this to people is going to be done. It's going to crumble, okay? So this Tower card is taking out that person. But you are still in this mental prison, this state of confusion and uncertainty and self-doubt. And that's where this brute force, this I'm not going to take it anymore attitude needs to come into play, right? We're already done with this person. That tower is already taken care of them. But now you've got to clear your path out of this Eight of Swords situation. And I think that this is really just with just tremendous effort, force, and fire, just brute force your way out of that. There's no thinking, there's no reasoning, there's no trying to debate with yourself or use logic to reason this thing out. You just have to say, no, I'm not believing that, I'm not accepting that, I'm done, it's over, I'm going to have this mental freedom. I'm getting myself out of this mental prison. And you know what that is going to be all about is what we see right underneath the surface. You could probably see in the video what this is. But this is the energy that is lurking just beneath the waters with you. And this is that Fool energy. This is that just wild and crazy freedom, right? And I think that you're in this kind of heavy state. You're in this mental prison. You're just locked up. You've got to use your brute force, fire, this fiery energy, right? This power that you have to get out of this mental situation, to get out of this state that you're in. Don't worry about this person. Tower's taking care of them. But you have to free yourself from now what you're kind of locked up in with your own mind, right? And the Fool is ready for that. The Fool is your absolute freedom. Your freedom from any kind of mental prison, self-limiting thoughts, feelings, attitudes, behaviors. This is the freedom to literally just bust your way out of whatever's holding you back, right? Just using your own force, fire, your own power. It's a free expression of this power with no second guessing, no emotional consideration, no self-doubt, no internal debate. It's just freedom. And the freedom to do what? Well, we're going to look on the path of the serpent and see what else is going on with you. You know, what is it? What is the real energy within you that's trying to get out, that's trying to find expression? But first we have to attain this freedom from all of these restricting thoughts, feelings, attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors. Free yourself from this using this Fool energy. Let this Fool out. This Fool wants to be free. Okay? And this is that openness, willingness, that eagerness and curiosity, that sense of wonder to go on another adventure, to really just be free with your thoughts, your feelings, your attitudes, your beliefs, and your behaviors, to just express yourself, right? Go find the path that's right for you. Free from this person over here. And the tower's taking care of them. You don't have to worry about them. You just have to let your own freedom out, right? Let your own Fool out in this situation and in your life and going forward. And this is what's going to transition us over here to the path of the serpent, okay? So we're going to get rid of this. Don't even want to worry about that anymore. Now, we're going to put your freedom right over here. Your freedom of expression, your freedom to choose your own path in life, right? I mean, this is one of those choose your own adventure books, right? Where you can literally, it might be an old reference. I don't know if anybody still reads those. I used to love those. But that's what the Fool is all about. And it doesn't matter what decision you make, what adventure you choose, or where the next page takes you. It's all good. It's all exciting. It's all satisfying and freeing and, you know, it's empowering, really. So The first card we see on the path of the Serpent is this Five of Cups, and this is in the position of your headspace right now. Your ego, kind of your general energy. This is sadness, disappointment, something is lacking, right? And I think what's lacking really is this satisfaction, this feel-good energy that I think the Fool is going to bring you. I think the Fool is really going to bring out this satisfaction, this sense of accomplishment, pleasure, right? You're pursuing your desires. It really is going to make your heart feel good. And it's going to make your head and your body feel good too, because you're going to be out, going on adventures, getting fresh air. You're going to be opening up your mind to new possibilities, new beliefs, new opinions and attitudes, new people, new discussions, all of it. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And each one of those items on that list has the potential to really bring you this pleasure and satisfaction, really make your heart feel good. Because I think right now, you're not feeling that. And a lot of that is because of this situation on the path of the dove that we saw with this queen. I don't even want to show this card. With this Queen of Cups. With that whole situation, I think has really got you down. And the Five of Cups. It's been a disappointing time in your life. Okay? And I think this is what you kind of dwell on day to day. It's just this lack of excitement, this lack of feel-good energy, this lack of pleasure, this lack of interest, really. This feeling like something is missing. This feeling like you're spending so much of your energy trying to get out of this situation, right? This path of the dove situation. Trying so hard to get out of that situation that you're not finding pleasure or excitement or satisfaction in really any other area of your life. But you're embracing this Fool energy right now, right? And what is that leading to? Well, that's leading to this Six of Cups in the position of your relationships with other people. I think you're going to see, once you are free, once you have this Fool energy about you, you're going to see a real improvement in your relationships with everyone, with your family, friends, loved ones, with your coworkers, with anybody you come in contact with the world in general. It's going to take on this rather happy, exciting, fulfilling, this kind of beautiful and harmonious energy, your relationships, right? I think the relationship that we saw on the path of the dove was hindering your relationships with anybody else. And maybe that was part of the manipulation. Maybe this is someone that didn't want you to have fulfilling, beautiful, harmonious, feel-good relationships, romantic or platonic or professional even, with anyone else. Maybe they were manipulating in that way. But now you have this opportunity. And I think you're going to see an improvement in all of your relationships, future and current, and in all of your interactions with people. There's going to be just this kind of warm, happy vibe, right? And it's important to try to hold on to that for as long as possible. And that's where the Fool comes in. Because the Fool is all about variety, expanding your experience, expanding your awareness, taking in more and more and more new and novel experiences. And that's going to keep this joy, this happiness, this satisfaction, this pleasure really, really active and central to your relationships. Again, professional, platonic, and romantic. Wherever it is that you're having interactions with people, wherever it is that you enjoy those interactions, the Fool is going to be there with these Six Cups, okay? Now, the obstacle, the one obstacle that's left on this path, what is it that's going to be causing you some anxiety, some concern? What's going to kind of reappear in your mind, in your heart this week that you're going to have to deal with? Well, we've got this Temperance card again. We've been getting this card a lot on this channel recently. I think in this scenario, this is going to be you trying to make sense of what happened. Trying to make sense of the whole situation that we were talking about, right? This is maybe trying to figure out how it fits into the overall picture, right? Why did that happen? What does it mean? What do I learn? What am I gaining from that? What was it that kept me in that situation for so long? What was I not seeing? What was I unwilling to look at? Was I trying to, fit that square peg in that round hole, right? Was I trying to force two things together that weren't meant to be together, right? Or was that being done to you? Was someone trying to mold you into that round object to go into that particular, right? It's kind of a Procrustean situation, right? Where someone, maybe this water sign person, maybe this Queen of Cups, maybe they had an idea or an ideal of what their situation should be, what their relationship was supposed to be like, what their life was like, what they wanted. And they were trying to chisel away at you, mold you, carve you, squeeze you to fit into their life, right? And they were manipulating you in that way. And I think that's something for you to assimilate, to really process everything that happened and allow it to become part of who you are, and acknowledge that it happened, forgive yourself, forgive the other person, whatever you need to do to really incorporate that experience into your soul, into who you are, into your life, right? If for the only reason so you don't repeat it again, so you don't let anybody else do that to you, right? So that you're more aware when you see those kinds of red flags with people, and you're able to nip that shit in the bud. Okay. So I think the Temperance card really here is trying to get you to discover, to kind of not relive the experience, right? I don't think you want to do that. You don't want to relive that. You don't want to torture yourself by because that will just put you right back into this kind of mental prison, right? But there will come a time, I think, where you're going to want to think about that situation again and really understand it, process it, accept it, assimilate it, and let it go, right? And that's what the Temperance card is telling me. It's going to be an important step for you. Now, what this is going to lead to is still more of this Fool freedom energy. And that's coming with the Ace of Wands. Now, the Ace of Wands really is that it's kind of like the magic wand that the Fool might wield as the Fool becomes the Magus, magician, the juggler. I wouldn't be surprised if this mystery card is the Magus, the magician, the juggler, right? I wouldn't be surprised at all. Because what do we get when we take the Fool and give him a magic wand? Well, we get that magician. We get that Magus. And so the Fool has his freedom to express his desires, to wander, to be free, to manifest his creativity, his or her or it, using this Ace of Wands, using this fiery creative impulse. This is that concentrated, centralized, fiery creative energy that is just harnessed to a very fine point and can be like a laser focus to create anything for the future, to really manifest your goals, your desires, your future, your destiny. Okay? So let's give this Fool a magic wand. Let's give this Fool the opportunity and the means, right? The means of expression. The Fool has all of this creative energy, but it needs to be focused and expressed. And that starts with this Ace of Wands. Let's give this Fool a magic wand, right? Let's see what the confirmation card is now, because I'm really curious if this is going to be the Magus, the magician, the juggler. What else would we like to see here? Well, we've got some good cup energy. We've got some good fire energy. I think some earth really is what's missing here. If we were to see maybe an ace of discs, or pentacles as they're called, the Ace of Pentacles, or if we saw maybe a Two of Pentacles, a Four of Pentacles, really any of the pentacles or discs, I think would be a very appropriate card. But let's see. Now, one day we'll do a live reading, and I'll wait for you all to tell me what you think this card's going to be before we look at it. Because I think with all of this energy that's accumulating here, I think like we all really get tuned in with each other. We're all on the same wavelength here. And so I think we all can really get a sense of what this card should be or could be. But sometimes the universe, the tarot, throws us a bit of a curveball. This could be something we're just completely not expecting. But let's see, I'm not trying to tease it out too much. Well, we've got more swords. We've got this Nine of Swords, okay? Now this, again, this is that curveball. This is a card that I didn't want to get. If you watch my readings, you know I don't like this card very much. You know, it's not a terrible card. This is sometimes like that painful truth kind of card, right? You're getting some information that you may not really like, that you may not want to hear, but you need to hear it. And I think that's part of what this reading was about today. So this is a bit of a confirmation. This is not a fun, pleasant topic, right? This isn't one of those fluffy puppy dogs and kitties kind of tarot readings. Those are a dime a dozen here on YouTube. This is something that you need to know. You may not really want to hear it, and I apologize for that. And if you want a thumbs down, dislike the video, go ahead. I understand. I think you need to hear it. But also what this card is telling me, more important than you disliking this reading, wanting to downvote the channel or whatever. This is what we were talking about with this Temperance card, this art card, about you kind of recapitulating the experience, accepting it, processing it, letting it go, right? Really understanding it, analyzing it a little bit. But I said not to dwell on that, right? Not to really ruminate on that, because you don't want to end up back here in this mental prison. So this is something to just understand the situation, accept it, process it, and let it go, right? Don't relive it. And the tarot now, the universe, is reinforcing that part of my reading today and saying, yes, do not relive that experience. Do not torture yourself by going over this scenario again and again and again. Right? Because more than it locking you up in this mental prison, it's actually going to start harming you. It's going to be just kind of self-destructive. It's going to be painful. It's going to be like all of these poisoned daggers are aimed right back at yourself, and you're going to be like reliving this nightmare over and over and over again. So this really is a confirmation about what I said with the Temperance card, the art card. Assimilate it, process it, understand it, learn from it, but let it go. Don't dwell on it. Don't keep rehashing it. Don't keep going over it. Certainly don't feel guilty about it, right? Don't point these daggers at yourself about this situation. Don't feel any guilt or responsibility. Process it, understand it, but don't let that guilty feeling arise, okay? And I think this is very important. This is, more than seeing any of the discs or pentacle cards that I was kind of hoping for. That would have been nice to see, right? No, this is going back to what I said before and trying to correct me, right? I'm being scolded a little bit here today. And I don't mind, because I think it's a very important point. That yes, you have to assimilate that experience, but it can go too far, and it can go too far too quickly. So be careful with this Nine of Swords. Understand what happened, assimilate it, process it, let it go. What would the Fool say? He would say, it's all good, man. Don't worry, be happy, let it go. But you have to understand it. You have to process it, otherwise it could creep back up when you're not expecting it and do more damage, right? So be conscious of this Nine of Swords potential. Don't let it get to this point. Don't let it get back to this Eight of Swords either. Assimilate it, understand it, let it go. Sagittarius, thank you so much for letting me read for you today. We're going to look at this a little bit in the extended version, so you can become a member to the channel by clicking on the link down in the description box. And I encourage you to do that. It doesn't cost very much. I think it's well worth the modest price. Okay. And if you don't like it, you can cancel. Anyway, thanks again for letting me read for you today. This was your weekly tarot forecast on Dove and Serpent Tarot.